Good evening everyone. So I like games.
Oh my god, bro.
And as the saying goes, when you like something, you want to do that something because you like that something, and you want to join and create that something because you like that something and you want to become that something. So today, almost 2 years ago, I decided that it's time to start my journey of becoming the best game developer in the world. But how do you do that? Simple. As my mother once said, the best way to learn is going to school. So I went to school.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
Well, that was a mistake. So I decided to take things into my own hands. So, how do I actually make a game? Well, the first step into making a game was to pick an engine. When I first started this project, I had two choices, Unreal Engine or Unity. At first I wanted to go with Unity, but when I started this project, the extinction level event happened, so yeah, reality is. Besides, Unreal has also two more factors that draw my eye to it. That being one, the main method of programming being blueprints, which are colorful and visually attractive, and I like them. And secondly, if by some reason the blueprints fail me, Unreal uses C++ as its other programming language, which I learned in school. Who could have guessed school being useful for once? So the choice was made, Unreal will be my engine. So I went and downloaded the engine, created the first person game and named it something very smart and intelligent and very professional. But then I waited around like 30 lifetimes. And when it finally loaded, what the fuck did I even do? So after watching a 4-hour video on how to Unreal Engine, I am practically the best game developer in the world already. So the first thing I did was delete a bunch of stuff, and then I gave the character the ability to sprint, which is pretty simple. You hold shift, the character moves faster, you drop shift, you don't run. Now this shows I made this game 2 years ago because in recent times I began to despise holding shift to sprinting games if they don't have any stamina management, but that's a story for another day. So now that we have a sprint mechanic and an eternal void, what do? Well, it's actually time to think of what game to make. So, tell me kids, what exactly do we do when we are in dire need of ideas? Exactly. So after taking a nice hot shower, I finally got a game idea. It's a pretty simple horror game because of course it's a horror game. The game will be divided in two halves. In the first half, you play as a killer or kidnapper or whatever, breaking into someone's house, doing stuff like cutting the power and phone line. In the second half, you play as the victim whose house you broke into and experience the events you just did. The idea here is that the player in the second half will feel immense dread because they know what's about to happen to them. I know, how Kojima of me. And stupid. I can't really say this is original. It's inspired by this weird but cool Garfield horror game I saw called The Last Monday, in which there is a scene where you break into someone's house and then you switch to the person who lives in the house. The only difference here is that in this case the person breaking into the house is John Arbuckle.
Garfield. It
is also inspired by Lixian's games like Late Night Mob and Dumpster Night, which are really good games and made by a professional and not me. But anyways, with the idea of the game now settled, it's time to begin actually working on it. So the first thing I did was search all over the internet for a house model because I am not making one myself, as I am unfortunately Belender-phobic. Here's some proof if you don't believe me. I really wanted the perfect house because it is the most important part of the game, so after hours of searching, I finally found the chosen one. Thanks HQ 3D mod for making this absolute beauty. So I downloaded it and textured it with free textures from cc0textures.com. Shout out to them as well, really cool free textures. I also made the nearby landscape, which looking back at it, why the hell did I make it so big? This shit ain't an open world game, what are we even doing? Then I started making the backyard of the house, placing things such as a table with seats, a sun umbrella, a dog house with a fence around it, which is an important part of the gameplay as you'll see, and a swing and slide, which I ended up not using because they look out of place on a house owned by what's presumably one guy without kids. Then I made this really long road and placed some poles which are also gameplay relevant. Then came hell itself, actually making the landscape look like a forest. Oh man, if only there was a way to place trees and grass in a very simple and natural way, only at the press of a button in a few switches. Oh well, time to place a million trees together and copy paste it all over the... oh shit, fuck, I don't think, what do we do? Well, time to take a 6-month break.
Please.
After this long break, I picked up the project again and deleted the trees and made the landscape much smaller. I also find a lower quality tree to use instead of the more high quality one that I used who ate through my resources. And as I foreshadowed, I learned about the procedural foliage spawner, which is so useful. You just do some stuff, press some buttons, you place this big boy down, and boom, you got a forest. It saves so much time, and you can even tweak the settings to make it look even more natural. This shit is so useful. With this done, I made it night, and man, I'm so glad that Lumen exists and I don't have to bake lights, because this would have been a nightmare. If you don't know what baking lights is, then you probably haven't watched any other debut YouTuber before. First of all, I'm glad that I'm your first. And second, if you want to know what baking lights is, we need to know a bit of physics. Don't worry, it isn't complicated. Go to a dark room, open the lights. What happens? The room lights up. This is because when the light hits the floor, it bounces all over the room, illuminating the entire room. This does not happen in video games. When you place a light in an engine, it's static and only illuminates one part of the area. In order to make it illuminate an entire room, you have to bake the lights, which takes a lot of time, only for the light to not look good, slightly change the setting, then wait again. It's a waste of time and nobody likes it.
Oh boy, it's time to bake some lights.
But thankfully, Unreal Engine 5 has Lumen. If you don't know what Lumen is, Lumen basically makes it so that lights are instantly baked when you place them and move them. No bullshit. Wow, I'm so thankful it exists and it saves me so much time. With the outside environment done, I started working on easier stuff such as adding footstep sounds that differ depending on what surface you want, and also a new main menu. I really wanted like a seamless main menu where when you click play you're plugged into the game directly. With these mountings finally done, I began making the actual game. In order to beat the first part, you need to interact with 3 items: the doghouse, the telephone pole, and the power box before you're allowed to enter the house and start the second house. But I also wanted to give the player the freedom to do them in any order they want, and this will impact the order of events the player will face in the second house. Besides, I didn't just want the player to just interact with the objects. I wanted the game to play like a short black screen cutscene with sounds in the background of what the player is doing. So in order to do this, I just made a black screen video with the sounds playing in the background and added it to the game whenever you interact with the object. There are plenty better ways to do it, as you'll see later. If you take a shot every time I say you will see later, you're probably gonna die. But that's something for future me to solve. We have something more interesting to do, such as making a house. So for the house, I made a completely new level and decided to make the house entirely from scratch and basically just use the model as the base for the interior. You know, I keep saying how many mistakes I made during the making of this project, but man, this really was the hugest mistake I made. Not only did the house end up way bigger, I had to count the original house model to create parts you should be able to see from the inside. What? And not only that, but for some reason I decided to look for individual assets. Individual assets! Not only that, but I still started to have big problems. And I gave up and took a 6-month break again. Alright, enough messing around, chat. Time to lock the fuck in! New strategy, new PC, new outlook on life, new name, fucking call me Jonathan. And I decided to basically remake the game from scratch. I did that because I kinda forgot. And thank God I did. Not only because I was able to remake the game in like, what, barely a week. I also made a lot of improvements such as the lighting, the main menu, and most importantly, the cutscenes. I changed it so that instead of the game playing a pre-made black cutscene, it's the screen going black and there are sounds playing in the background, which was a much better idea. I have no idea why I didn't think of this at first. Sometimes I really have to remind myself that I am dumb. With the first part of the game already remade, I just started working on the house again. With my newly acquired knowledge, this time I did it directly inside the house model itself. This made it so that the house was smaller and just generally looked better. And instead of using individual assets, I got some free furniture packs from the asset store and just used individual assets whenever I needed. This sped up the process of making the house from 2 weeks to 2.5 days. Yes, there were some slight problems like the stair bug returning and this car collision, but I got it taken care of pretty easy. Now when the interior finally made, I can finally start making on the spooky. But first, even though I absolutely glazed the Lumen earlier, unfortunately, Lumen has a weird quirk when used in dark environments. The light leaks weirdly and it has a strange dimming out to it. So, unfortunately... You know, I talk so much on it, but how bad can it actually be? So after changing the lights around and getting something decent for now, I finally started working on the spooky. But while I was making the triggers, I realized that for this I kinda need a killer for them. Fine, I learned Blender, I guess. Like how bad can it be? Fortnite balls, I'm gay, I like boys, I kidnap. Alright, Alright, so that won't work. So what I actually did instead was that I got this random ass guy model, made his shirt red because I really don't know, made a mask that is totally an original creation. What do you mean? Then I shoved the mask on his face and tada, we got a killer. Yeah, he looked pretty dogshit, but he works because most of the game he's walking in the shadows, so it should be fine. So the game contains 3 types of triggers. The main triggers, which you can literally not skip. They are mandatory and related to the task you did in the first half. The environmental triggers, these are placed around the map for people to interact while exploring the map. And the random triggers, because the game has 4 endings. Yes, the game has 4 endings. I don't think I said it yet. You have to replay the game, and to mitigate the boredom you'll feel dealing with the same scares, I added some triggers that have a random chance of things to happen just to spice up the gameplay. This uses the same system as the Easter egg I added. Yes, I added Easter eggs. I have my priorities right.
Also, would you look at this awesome channel on this laptop screen? Maybe you should like subscribe to it or something.
Next, I made some cutscenes, which I thought would be painful, but they were really fun. The most fun I had working for this project. After that, I made the ending screens, which were the calm before the storm, because the next thing I did were the settings and the saving system. When I first started this project, my biggest scare was the settings and making the save system. And I was right, this stuff was horrible. But no one cares about that, let's be honest. I changed some stuff, like asking my friends for pictures to put on the walls. No one will notice. And adding some forward and post process such as lens flare, you know, making the game look good. And with this, the game is finally finished. Hell yes. The only thing left to do is to package it. I have to be honest, I was terrified of this. Packaging the game can bring bugs, the game not working as intended, and the thing I was the most scared of was how big the game size will be. UE has this quirk of making even the smallest games absolutely huge. For example, when Lixian packaged Late Night Mob, it was almost 10 gigabytes big. So I was scared of my game being even bigger. So when the game finally finished packaging, I was playing. I clicked on it and 1.42 gigabytes. Thank Lord! Don't get me wrong, it's still dog shit for a game this small, but I actually believed it could be 20 gigs. So I compressed a few textures and got it under 1 gig, because I couldn't upload it otherwise. With my biggest fear now gone, I can finally start the game. Oh, shit. Fine, just give me a minute. So after fixing that problem, the game was finally playable. So if you want to play it by yourself, the link is in the description. It's on itch, which is a trustable website, and all you have to do is click download. The game is free, you can donate, but if you don't want, just click the no thanks, just take me to the download button. But if you donate, I'll be very grateful. I'll do a backflip over 2-story building for every $1 the game makes. But to be fair, I don't know who will donate, because the game is kind of garbage for a multitude of reasons. It definitely shows the noobiness of this project. And while it sucks, the learning curve of making a game is exponential. I definitely learned a lot in this project, and I'll definitely use the knowledge I gained from this project to speed up my next game. Like, this game took 2 years to make, but I fully believe that my next game won't take even 2 months. But until then, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.